Morning to Jen's Gym, and welcome to another stay-at-home full body workout. Today I've got a range of exercises that will address all of the major muscle groups of the body. So let's get started. As is my usual pattern, I'm going to start off with an exercise for the bum. The first exercise is called fire hydrants. So you want to start down on all fours and then toes turned under, and then we're going to lift your leg out to the side, maintaining a 90-degree angle at your knee. So nice and slow so that you're keeping that glute muscle under contraction for the whole time. One thing to be mindful of this exercise is when you're doing it, you don't want to be changing the shape of your back. So your back is staying in a neutral position, so that natural curve in your lower back needs to be there throughout the movement. And we don't want to be rolling your body. So you're not opening your hips right like this. Everything stays nice and still except for the leg that you're lifting. So that's fire hydrants. There are some people out there that can't kneel on their knees. So as an alternative, this is an exercise for you. This is a seated glute pull apart. You'll need some kind of strap or a belt laid over your knees. You want to have your knees at hip width apart. Wrap your knees with the whatever strapping you've got, and then for 10 seconds we're going to put tension on that band. So we're pushing our knees out as hard as you can for 10 seconds, and then relax. And then again for 10 seconds, and be mindful to keep your back in a neutral position. You can even hinge forward a little bit with a neutral back and do the same thing. That makes it a little bit more intense. So if you do 10 of those, holding for 10 seconds, that'll get your bum burning. Okay. So that's the bum warmed up. Now we're going to do a single leg balance exercise. So for all of you out there that are challenged with your balance, this is for single leg work. So we're going to stand on our left leg first, raise your knee, keep your arms out to the side to help you with your balance. You want to be mindfully engaging your core and your glutes, and then we're going to head turn. So this is where the difficulty comes in. See, I'm losing it already. Left and right is one rep, okay? So you might do 10 of these. 10 on this leg, and of course, swap legs, and 10 on that leg. Okay, now we're going to squat. Squatting is a very powerful exercise using lots of big muscles. Very important to be able to squat well. So the first version we're going to do from a seated position. We're going to have our feet wider than hip width apart with our toes pointed out. Have your heels fairly close to the box, and we're going to keep our chest open and high. Think about this being a vertical move with a rope attached to your head. So we're going to go straight up. We're going to try not to rock forward to use momentum to get you up. We're going to try and use our legs to push ourselves straight up, maintaining that neutral back position so that your back shape does not change while you're doing this. You also want to be mindful that your knees are tracking in the same direction as your toes. You don't want your knees collapsing in. So keep your knees out. So from the side, see my neutral back, nice and straight. Okay, the next version, if you're looking for a bit more of a challenge, is what I refer to as a tap and go. So this time we're going to do exactly the same thing, but we're not going to deload our weight. We're just going to go down. Now the box is just a target. So we're just touching the lightest of touches. Okay? And then if you're wanting a bit more of a challenge, we can add in a little bit of weight. So if you grab some hand weights, I've just got 2 2-litre bottles. If you don't have any dumbbells, fill them with water. You've got 2 kilos in each hand. So starting again, feet wider than hip width apart, toes pointed out. I'm going to go down into a squat and then up with power. And pressing those weights up over your head at the same time. Okay, that's squats. Righto, moving along to upper body. Going to need these weights again. So we're going to alternate left and right. So you want to stand with your feet hip width apart, with your glutes engaged and your core engaged, and we're going to alternate. Try to make sure that the weights are getting pushed directly above your head. So from the side, it looks like this. You might want to do a good shoulder warm up before you do this, so you don't want to be pushing them out in front. You want to try and get them up over your head if you can, all the while keeping your shoulders down. All right, now an additional challenge, if you are used to pressing more weights, you can do the same thing. You can still bring on some good fatigue in your shoulders just with small weights. So this time we're going to hold one up. We're going to push the left hand up and down, pressing up and down. And you might do 10, 15, 20 until you feel that shoulder really starting to fatigue, and then swap. You can still get a good workout with light weights. Okay, that's shoulder pressing. Now, rowing. Rowing and pulling exercises at home is quite tricky, so we're going to need to improvise today. Today you're going to need a door frame or a pole. So inside your house you'll have a door frame, so just imagine I'm standing in the door frame and you can use the frame. Or you can use a pole if you've got one out on the veranda. So straddle the pole or the frame with your feet. Allow yourself to rock out. So this version is with straight legs. So engaging your core, squeezing your bum and keeping your shoulders down. And as you pull in, you want to feel your shoulder blades squeezing together across your back. Then a little bit more difficult is to go down into a squat. And it's exactly the same thing. And you can move your feet a little bit further in so that you're leaning a little bit further out. So that makes it a little bit harder. And do it nice and slow. Shoulders down, squeezing those shoulder blades, engaging the core, and don't forget to breathe. Okay, rowing. If you are looking for more of a challenge, rowing at home, you can do this version. So just imagine that this is a table. Obviously this needs to be a solid table. If you don't have a solid table, don't do this. Maybe a fixed office desk. So find somewhere nice and safe. Lay down so that your head and shoulders are underneath the table. Hand grip. Knees bent. And then we're going to pull chest to the table. Okay, that's rowing for our time. Okay, now the final two exercises can be done as a circuit or they can be done independently. So you can use this as a bit of a cardio element, or you can just use it as a strength element and do them separately. So you'll need something that you can step over. So you can use something like a small suitcase or an overnight bag, about 20 centimetres, or you can use something a little bit higher. You've got a low coffee table that's about 40 centimetres in height, something like that. So then we're going to step over them laterally. So standing sideways to whatever you're stepping over, knee high, step all the way over. Make sure you leave enough space for you to plant your next foot as it comes over. So you've got to step quite wide. So whatever you're stepping over needs to have a bit of width as well, not just height. Really want you to get those knees nice and high, and it's got a nice balance element in this as well, because you've got to be on one foot for a bit. Okay, that's lateral stepping, and then something for the abs. So we're going to do what's called the hundreds. So lay down on your back. You want to have your knees at 90, hips at 90, head up, straight arms, and then we're going to flap the arms. So this version is the easy version with bent legs. If you want to do a hard version, you can do it with straight legs. And you're counting for time, so you're going to need a timer. So you might do it for 15 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, or a minute, depending on how fit you are. For people that have got lower back issues, you might be able to do the same exercise with your feet resting so that your knees are at about 90, so you can do the same thing. Okay, and that's your lot. So Thanks for joining me. If you would like to check out my other videos, there is a warm-up video and a cool-down video that you can access on my YouTube channel if you are struggling to get yourself warmed up effectively, and then there's a cool-down video so that you can stretch down nicely. If you have watched this video and would like more details on how many sets and how many reps, I've got a PDF that I can send to you. So send me a comment and I can forward the file to you. Thanks for joining me.